Hey everybody, Mike Iaconelli back out here in the shop, the Mad Science Lab, and I want to talk to you today about a brand new style of hook, especially here in the States, and it's called a ringed hook. A ringed hook. And VMC is making one called a ringed wide gap, and I'll pull one out here. This is a 2/0. Just want to show you what I'm talking about first. If you look at it, it's like your normal hook. There's no difference. This is a 2/0 EWG style hook, but here's where the difference lies. It has a welded ring on the eye of that hook. I know what you're thinking. You're looking at that thing and saying, big deal. It's a hook with a split ring on the eye. What's the difference? Well, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to show you 4 techniques to use with this VMC ringed hook. And keep in mind, it's a welded ring, which is real important. The other thing, when I was in Japan a few years ago, 80% of the people in Japan, the anglers in Japan, were throwing this style of hook. Here in the United States, still kind of quiet, still underground. But let's talk about 4 ways to use the VMC ringed hook. The first way, and it's really, it's been effective for me, and I almost hardly ever now fish a fluke without using a ringed hook. And here we've got a 5/0 EWG VMC ringed hook, and basically just your favorite fluke, whatever it is. This is a power bait jerk shad, fluke style lure. I do my normal Texas rig, okay? I know what you're thinking, big deal. There's nothing different here going on, okay? And I'll just, Texpose it. But now, because I'm not tied directly to the hook itself, I'm tied to a ring, right? I tied to the ring, not the eye of the hook. And just in my hand, I want you to see how much more side to side, up and down, back and forth action that fluke's gonna have. So I tie to the ring, it's giving the fluke better action, better movement, and it's a little extra weight at the nose of the bait. So when I'm working it and twitching it, it's got all that extra movement, it pops out. When I pause it, that ring is sort of pulling it down a little quicker. And of course, it's got that shimmy on the fall. So ringed hook for fluke, minnow style soft jerk baits. The second way I'm going to rig it, and a good buddy of mine, Seth Fighter, is probably going to kill me for letting the cat out of the bag, but rigged on a Texas rig. And I see a lot of guys, Seth, a lot of other guys, including myself, will use this method to give the bait more action. Here I've got a Berkley power tube. This is a 4.5-inch green pumpkin power tube. Same thing, this is a 3/0 VMC extra wide gap ringed hook. Going to do my normal Texas rig, okay? Now just look at it. Now, instead of the weight and the bobber stop being jammed right on the top of that tube, now you have that ring acting as a spacer. And look what it's going to do. Look what it's going to do. It's unbelievable. It's going to give that tube, look at you, just hold it in my hand. You can see all that extra action, side to side, 360, back and forth. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to provide a spacer between your weight and the bait, and it's going to do a better job to protect your knot. So ringed hook for Texas rigging, especially on a flipping tube. Okay? Method number 3 for the VMC ringed hook. And this is a little different twist on what's called leadered punch shotting, or the Tokyo rig. This is called non-leadered punch shotting. And if you look at it, there's my ringed hook right there. This happens to be a 3/0 ringed hook. I've got one of my favorite punching style baits, just came out. It's the Berkley Power Bait Jester. And when I do my normal Texas rig, getting ready to flip this thing in wood, grass, bushes, around docks, whatever, and you look at it, again, I'm not going to tie to the eye of the hook, but I'm going to tie to that welded ring. To that welded ring, I've attached a drop shot weight. You could attach it straight to it if you have a clip style drop shot weight. If not, all I do is add another little split ring to it so that drop shot weight moves around freely. But when I flip it out and it falls, now the weight is on the bottom, the bait is just barely off the bottom. But once again, with all this extra movement, 360-degree movement, way better action. So I call this non-leadered punch shotting, but it's another great method for the ringed hook. Last but not least, method 4 for how you can use the brand new VMC ringed wide gap hook. It is as a back hook on crankbaits, lipless baits, top waters, jerk baits, whatever you want, to give that bait a different action and a different look. Here's one of my favorite modifications. This is a Rapala, a BX waking minnow. This is a wake style bait, stays on the surface. I've got factory treble on the front, factory treble in the middle, but in the back, look at that. I've added a 2-aught VMC ringed extra wide gap hook. Just a little Berkley power bait general on the back of it. And watch this. I'm going to do my normal Texas rig. I'll Texpose it so the hook is a little pushed out of the tail. Okay? Now watch. There you have it. Now I've got this amazing tail that as I reel in this Rapala BX waking minnow, this tail is going to be slashing back and forth, not only as an attractor and a teaser, but if that fish comes up and hits the tail, tunk, I've got him. Let me tell you, think about this. Add this to your arsenal. Add these ring style hooks, the VMC ringed wide gap. Try those 4 methods, right? Try it on a fluke style bait, Texas rig, especially a tube, non-leadered punch shotting, and finally, as a stinger, as a teaser on the back of a hard bait. And I guarantee you're going to show the fish something different, and the bait's going to have way more action. Mike Iaconelli out here in the shop. I hope you learned something. Tune back soon for some more info.